Hello, this is Snap on This, episode 29. It's a Marvel Snap podcast. I'm your host, LaurenWhatevs, here with two of my besties. First up, it's an odd-numbered episode, so we're going to throw it to Ree first. Ree, how was your week in Snap? And keep it snappy.
Okay. My week was mostly Sanctum and not really much Conquest. Like, I got the Dazzler and the Avatar, but that was it. And in Sanctum, I don't know how it was for you, but for me, like, every single match has turned into the Princess Bride showdown between the Man in Black and Vizzini. You know, but instead of Vizzini, it's like Rocket Raccoon, who's kidnapped Star-Lord instead of Buttercup.
Yes.
And like Groot's like off, you're like Gamora and Groot's like unconscious somewhere off screen. And cause like it's like every time it starts, I'm just like, okay. Now, based on what I know from your avatar and title, are you the type of snapper?
Powder or whatever.
Are you the type of snapper to madly play Rocket Raccoon on turn one, even though I may not have even drawn one, much less risk it on one, and I'm safe, therefore, to put my Kitty Pryde, my 1/1 Kitty Pryde that's, you know, not even going to beat a rocket and stuff on there, and then, you know, just get that delicious little, like, one tidbit for free. Or are you the type of snapper to throw it down on turn 4 because you base it, because you know that I'm trying to like make, you know what I mean? You're playing all these mind games with the Guardians. That's like every show, because I'm playing like Kitty Pryde. I mean, you know, Lauren, you've seen it.
I've played a lot of your deck.
Yeah, I swapped out some replacements for the band card, so I don't know. I will put it in show notes, I guess, but I don't know if people will be interested because there won't be a lot of Sanctum left by the time this comes out. But I swapped in. I had like 3 cards that were on the ban list, so we had to replace those. But like Kitty Pryde is still a champ. Like you get her early. You play her, like, right, and, like, then you just win every single turn, because she's just, like, 11 power that's only increasing with an Elsa and a Galacta every single turn. And Kraven, because everyone's playing movers, right? So, like, that was another card I subbed in. And, yeah, so it's been a good time. I've actually not run out of scrolls. I haven't played enough. I am a sorcerer supreme now, but like I never ran out of scrolls, so it's like I like it better than Deadpool's Diner. I didn't feel as, you know, grindy pressure because there's time left, and it's like, well, you know, like I could get these cards, but like, you know, I can kind of relax. So I would say this is definitely a win over Deadpool's Diner, but it did feel like a bit of like Wizard. I lost my enthusiasm, so I got there, but it's like, okay, I finally did it, and I got enough to get like I got the first 3 cards because it didn't even occur to me to just buy those with tokens because they'd be series 4 for cheaper. So it's like, okay, I've passed the 3 trials of the portals and I'm ready. I'm ready for my new season 5 card. Will it be Scream? I know I've murdered her a lot, but I'm ready to join forces and wreck some bitches. But like, no. But then like the curtain opens and my free roll was Bruce Banner, and it's just like,
of course,
no, you don't need to give me an angry nerd. I have a fucking mirror. Like, it's just like, it was so devastating. I honestly was so upset. I haven't even tried to play with him. So like, I don't know. There's so many cards that I want. And he's like I said, energy just skip hasn't felt great. It's like, I don't like to play Magic because I'm the kind of player that likes to play Allegiant. You know, I hate being fooled by my own tricks. And I'm always murdering limbos. So like, it's just a real bummer. Anyway, so it's like, overall, this mode for me was a win. It's got to be limited time because it's like, I don't need to like have like, you know, the who can out mind game the Guardians, the other people's Guardians. But like, but it's like, it was a much less unpleasant experience than Deadpool's Diner. It didn't feel quite as slow and worrying to get levels because they didn't have that like super exponential gain. So you didn't feel like you were super far behind. And then the big shop was actually good. At first it was crushing because like I can't get it all, but it's like that's what leads it slightly more casual friendly is like you could get the 3 cards, even maybe a free season 5. And for people that that were more hardcore players, like there's all these extra borders and stuff you can get. It's like you can spend time and get some kind of value for it. So, kind of a win, but also I'm kind of done. And boo on giving me Bruce Banner.
Is that the only unowned Series 4-5 card you've pulled so far? The Bruce Banner? Okay.
I'm trying to think how many charms I have now. I think around like $1,000. So like, it's like, and there's time. So it's like, I kind of don't know if I'm going to end up getting another or not.
Yeah. I mean, you can always finish it off with gold. I'll remind everybody it's a very good deal. It's one of the best deals they've ever offered.
For real, it's a very good deal.
Especially if you're going to get a Series 5 card. But it's a good deal even if you get a Series 4.
Yeah. Like for the record, we did have a good Token Tuesday this week, but like you should have skipped it because that money would be better spent on that Sanctum shop for a fresh Series 4 or 5 card because it's so much better than any other deal around. It's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 2 so far. I got Corvus, and who dropped a Series 4. I probably, should have gotten him with tokens to make my pull better. I don't know. And then Thaddeus, Thunderbolt Ross was the other one I got so far.
All right.
I think I'll get one more.
Since we're sharing that information, I'll jump in right now and say that I did do that thing where I bought my missing Series 4 card with tokens. So
smart.
I
Super
dropped
Giant?
3,000 on Super Giant because I just knew I was going to roll Super Giant if I didn't do that.
Yes.
And then, you know what I did roll? I rolled Bruce Banner.
Oh.
And you know what? So now there's a certain kind of player in the community who will now conclude that because 2 of us got Bruce Banner, it's rigged. It's weighted towards Bruce Banner. They're trying to shove Bruce Banner down your throats. There's no other possible explanation. That's the most likely thing. It's got to be a coordinated scheme.
It has to be, Ben. I've just heard it just now on a podcast.
Yep. Wow. Anywho, no, I don't believe that's true. I think we both just got that lucky. Oh, man. I don't think I'm going to play him, but, stranger things probably haven't happened, honestly. I just don't think I'm going to play him. But yeah, I'll have enough.
I don't want to play him.
I think I'm knocking on the door of Sorcerer Supreme. Once I finally started getting into Sanctum, I started playing a lot of Sanctum, but I was very slow to get there. Oh yeah, is it my weekend snap yet? Reed, did you have more?
No, I'm pretty good. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, I played a lot of Sanctum. Took me a little while to really get into it. I am Ben. It's all true. The rumors you've heard. Anywho. Yeah, I've been having actually quite a lot of fun with Sanctum. This time last week, I'd played about 10 games. I was sort of Sanctum neutral. I thought it seemed fine. I thought maybe I liked High Voltage better, but as I played more, after we recorded, I made a Scream deck that I really liked. And then, of course, there were fresh bans, one of whom was Scream. The Scream deck that I liked had Silk in it, and it was in last week's show notes, and it was very good and everything. And it seemed such a shame. I just thought about it, and I thought about the cards that I would want to play in this mode, the things that I think are good to do in this mode. And I realized that Silk is kind of just the icing on the cake, and should probably still be playing Stegron and Spider-Man and stuff anyway. So I just leaned I replaced Cannonball and Scream with Shang-Chi and Copycat. Copycat is great in this mode because it's usually at least a Guardian of the Galaxy and therefore the best one because none of them are 3/5, right? And sometimes it's something even better. It can be pretty. There are very few bad hits in this mode for Copycat, I will say. But anywho, the deck that I have been playing, it's called Silent Shout, named after the 2006 album by the Swedish electronic duo The Knife. I think they're Swedish. I don't know. I can't be bothered. It was 2006. It was a long time ago. But the contents of this deck, Rocket Raccoon, that's right. I'm playing one Guardian. I think that's the right number of Guardians to play. It's the best Guardian. You should probably just play that one. I don't know. That's me. That's my philosophy. So I'm playing Rocket Raccoon, Hydra Bob, Iron Patriot, Kraven, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Spider-Man, Silk, Red Guardian, Copycat, Polaris, Shang-Chi, and Stegron. And I have a great time. One of the things that I think is best to do in this mode of Sanctum Showdown is to make your opponent's Guardians whiff and still try to win that lane where they played them. Because Rocket Raccoon untriggered, that's 1 power. Star-Lord, that's 2 power. You know what's bigger than those? Hydra Bob, Silk, Captain, the shield is the same size as Rocket Raccoon if he doesn't get his thing off. Spider-Man, bigger than Groot, bigger than the only one that can actually win a lane if you don't play there. As silly as that sounds, is Gamora because she brings 8. But it's when the Guardians fall flat, they fall so flat, and your opponent just loses. So that's a really good thing to try and do. I don't know. Just anecdotally, it feels like I'm winning kind of a lot. And it makes me wonder if there are players out there who are losing kind of a lot. There's got to be someone having the inverse experience to mine. And that's that makes me wonder if this mode is kind of feels bad for a large segment of the player base. But in my very selfish way, I'm having a blast with it. I will actually maybe even miss this one when it's gone, which I have never said about the other limited time modes. I've never even, the thought has never crossed my mind that I would play some High Voltage for fun or Deadpool's Diner for fun. No. But yeah, I had a great time with that. I've played barely any ladder, although when I was on ladder, I did want to, get a taste of the new cards. I built my first Arishem deck. I'm not even going to tell you what's in it because I'm so sure it's not good. I'm sure I've done it wrong. I did not consult any established lists or anything. I was just well, I bet this probably goes in it, right? So
it's Arishem. The answer is yes.
Yeah, well, that's what you hear, but I think those people are being hyperbolic when they say that it really doesn't matter what you play in it. But other than that, I also tried a Scream deck with Agamotto in it, just because Winds of Watum, come on. Yeah, other than that, my weekend snap, I listened to last week's episode, and the thing that I thought people would love, turns out it clipped real hard, and I couldn't tell what I was saying. The thing that I had been saying was, I can't know how to hear any more about tables. I said it at a reasonable volume that I think it's probably going to be easier to hear, and it's going to be more intelligible. Now that I've cleared my conscience of that potential failure of communication.
I recognized the reference when I was editing. I was like, oh my gosh, it was I Think You Can Leave, wasn't it?
I think you should leave, but yes.
Oh, you're right. Yes, I'm. Yes.
But hey, you got there. That's what's up.
Anyway, as soon as I heard it when I was editing, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that one. But I'm slow on the references. But
hey,
yes,
well, also,
I
don't
know
how you would. I couldn't tell what I was saying on listening back. That just drove me nutty, and I just hate to be misunderstood. It's not one of the best feelings. Other than that, what happened in my weekend snap? I told you all about the Agamotto Scream deck. I told you all about the Arishem deck that had Agamotto and Eson in it. Because I was like, if we're making a huge deck, let's make it a 27 card deck. Let's just do it. Let's say, let's just go for it.
I've seen a lot of that.
you know, I don't think that's actually like wise or anything, but it's a thought. I don't know. It seemed like fun to me, and I was just flopping around and doing science and stuff.
All right.
Yeah. Or 26 cards, is that what it is? I'm sorry. Arishem does 12 cards now?
It's 28.
28? Okay.
You can get all the way up to 34 if you rock a Thanos, too.
Oh my gosh, could you? Oh my gosh, you could. Wow. Yeah. I have to say, I don't think I've been missing much by not playing Arishem until now. I don't know. I only played like 2 games with it, and I don't know.
We missed it when it was really fun, when it had the extra energy the whole time.
Yeah, when he was busted.
Yeah. You know, not everything has to be for everyone, and I'm glad that the people who are having fun with Arishem are having fun with Arishem. And I'm wearing at least one too many warm things, so losing the scarf. And I will pass the weekend snap stick.
I'm going to talk more about Sanctum. You two, it sounded like neither of you have hit 0 on your scrolls. I have been at 0 almost the entire time. Obviously, the first stretch of like 24 scrolls plus more because you're climbing up the ladder and there's Twitch and all that. Like that lasted a while. But once I hit 0, I've been at 0 the whole time. Every single reset, I'm spending 2 scrolls, except for like every now and then I'm working and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll hit 4 scrolls and have that double length session afterwards. After the cards were banned, I was struggling so bad. I was losing almost every game. I was barely getting more than 1 game per scroll. Basically, the ones I was winning was the pity bots they were throwing my way. It was really frustrating.
Confusing at first. The bots, it's like, I'm like, they're bot.
You're playing Nakia off.
It's like, are you trying to lose? And I'm like, but they are.
Yeah,
but also I don't think they're specially coded for this mode.
Yeah,
so they
give up after turn 6, right? Like they stop playing
at some point.
They just stop playing sometimes. Yeah, and I don't know if they're supposed to be throwbots or what, but yeah, there were a few times where it's like I almost accidentally lost to them. Like they almost accidentally won because they didn't understand the way the locations worked or the way my bob moved or whatever. Anyway. It was incredibly frustrating, and I was so bummed because I was loving Sanctum, and then all of a sudden I'm burning scrolls like crazy and not making progress. And of course, it feels even sweatier because there's cards on the line. And, you know, I try really hard to have an attitude about Snap where it's like, this is my hobby. This is the thing I love. I have fun playing the game. And if it's getting frustrating, I'm going to change my goals. I'm going to make a silly clip or change which deck I'm in or change which mode I'm playing. But also, like, card acquisition, that's how you get the toys to play with. So anyway, I tried a bunch of stuff. I did try Ben's deck. It was fun, but I don't think I was playing it right. And then I went to Ree's updated version of Sorceress Supreme, and I have loved it. I have gotten probably about 4 games per scroll, which isn't amazing, but it's a lot better than 1. And all of a sudden I was having fun again. It's like
when you win, you have fun.
Yeah, I'm not super duper that way, but I learned this week that I can't be losing all the time, especially if there are stakes that I care about.
Yeah, that does that beats you up emotionally for sure. Even if you go in like with the most well-adjusted attitude, it's yeah.
So
I like how your reason. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's you. You're the one who goes ahead.
No, what was I saying? Oh, now it feels like I shouldn't have gotten the attention. Like, your reason was like, but the rewards. When I thought you were gonna say, what I was thinking, where you're like, I should quit because I'm tilted and angry, and I will only play terribly and do worse and surely get more angry. And then I just hit plague.
Yes.
Oh, that is the thing. On the rare occasions that I've lost like 2 games in a row, I get very frustrated and like I gotta stop because like it's only happened a few times in Sanctum, but like it really does feel a bit crushing. It's like that was a whole 8 hours of scroll regeneration, right? That like losing 2 in a row, like really
it's gone in 10 minutes.
Oh, I just mean in general in the game, not Sanctum.
Oh yeah,
always whatever I tilt.
I think I've bought scrolls about 5 times because they come in packs of 40, and so you have to do 5 to make it a clean 100.
How do you buy scrolls? I was wondering about that.
You just try to play the game when you're at 0.
Scrolls at a time?
So, no. 40 gold to buy 1 scroll.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, it's okay. It's not bad. But also, you can convert 40 gold into 30 charms directly in the shop. So it's like, you have to do better than 30 charms with your scroll to make it worthwhile. And it's like, what if you buy a scroll and you lose that game? What if you buy a scroll and you lose that game really bad?
That probably does feel really bad. Like, once you're throwing
it's a
gold
terrible
at
experience.
Yeah, that probably...
No, yeah, because I've been there. Because I also have frequently won, but like sometimes when I lose, it is very hard like that, where they just get ahead. Because what I think one of the more successful things against my deck is when a real aggression deck, like Squirrel Girl, Mockingbird, when they can just hit it so hard, so fast. Because my deck does do a little bit of a build. We are hoping to Red Guardian something that was early, or rely on making them whiff their Guardians. You know what I mean? To give us a little time for Elsa and Kitty and like Sam, like.
And then you're unstoppable.
And then just unstoppably win. Yes. So if they go hard fast enough by getting their draws and playing them, like sometimes I just lose everyone. And sometimes I'm like,
and you get like 0 charms or like 2.
Right. And it's gotten to the point where when I see that happening and it's like they are so far ahead at this point, it's going to take them like another 3 to 4 turns to win, but I'm like not going to win a single lane. Then I'm just like, nah, retreat. That's what you get for coming at me so strong.
Yeah.
Played me a little. I would have stuck around longer.
I have like, at first I was somewhat resentful of the retreaters, but that is soft.
I do what I want, Ben. It's my experience too. I get to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I mean, they were about to lose real bad. Maybe they knew. I can't hold it against them.
It's okay if you're a sore loser on the inside, as long as you don't make other people feel bad about it.
I'm not emote spamming the people who I
don't like
it
when they emote while they do it. That's annoying.
That's what I'm saying. I don't emote. I'm just like, nah, get out of here.
But no, I for real, the retreaters are not so bad.
Is like, like the fun thing is if I did see them emote a lot, because I didn't already mute them, I do already just mute a lot of people. Sometimes just based on like how I feel, they didn't even do anything wrong yet. I'm just like, nah, we did. But like when I see them and they do something like snap, nano snap, nano snap, nano snap, nano snap, and then like because they're so stupid, like the turn hasn't played out and they don't realize they've lost because it hasn't finished playing out, and they're all like emote celebrating, and then you just wait for a second and the victory plays and you're like single like. Snap, like that, like just that one back, just to be like. Anyway, I love showing people what class looks like.
Yeah. I won't start it, but I will end it. Anyway, Sanctum, I loved everything about it except for the energy system. I think that's bad, but I also suspect it's here to stay. We'll see how well it did, right? Like they're gonna. Depending on how much gold people spent on that, that'll matter. But I think also the fact that it's limited lets them control what's in the shop.
Wait, the energy system, like the scrolls thing?
Scrolls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a traditional mobile game where you have energy that you have to spend to play. And I did not like that. Whereas historically, Snap, you can play as much as you want. And I love that about Snap. And even in like Conquest, where it's like you have to pay to enter the higher levels, you can still play Proving Grounds for free and work your way up. I would like to see something more like that. Or I know they don't like splitting queues, but I would like to see a free Sanctum mode. And maybe when I'm in free mode, I don't get any charms, and that's fine. I think it sucks testing out decks with a limited resource. Like that was part of my frustration for those few days until Re gave me an updated deck where I was just like, I can't make anything work. I'm trying my own brews. I'm trying net decks. None of them are clicking for me.
Lauren, when you messaged me, I felt like such a hero. It was just like, it's like when like Jessica Drew calls Captain Marvel and it's like, I'm here. It's like, oh, I get to be the Captain Marvel. Normally I'm the sidekick. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to talk. I got Infinite in 12 hours, which is the fastest I've ever done it by a long shot.
I haven't played it all.
Yeah.
Like ladder.
Which, like, that's the opposite of my frustrating Sanctum experience. Is I goofed around with Agamotto for 15 levels and then closed it out with a deck I knew was really strong. It's a Bast, Agent Venom, and Havoc Joint. I think I've talked about it here before. I'll put it in the show notes because it's really strong against pretty much everything that's out there right now except for Hela and sometimes Ajax. Anyway, I just a deck that I knew well. I was very good about my retreats and stuff. I will also note it took 7.5 hours. I looked at my screen time tracking and all that. It's I played a lot yesterday, I know there are people who struggle to get to infinite or who have never hit infinite or it's hit or miss, and that can be a really frustrating experience. And I've been there. When I first started playing the game, even my first couple infinites, those seasons, I tanked 20 ranks before I slogged my way back up. And that's really tough, but it takes a good retreat discipline. And I was going to talk about that more, but I feel like we're already going long. So here's my very quick tip on climbing infinite if you haven't done it before. When I successfully hit infinite for the first time, Pulse Glazer sent me a surfer deck and was play this. And I did this. He didn't do this. I opted to send my cubes to him, my list of wins and losses. And that just knowing I was going to be accountable to him and report my cubes, I ended up playing smarter. I snapped better and retreated better. And there were times when my impulsive ADHD ass wanted to snap, wanted to stay in and see what would happen. But then I was I had little shoulder glazer telling me no, you got to retreat. And I'm yeah, that's probably the right thing to do. And then I climbed. And I would just say 99% of climbing problems are you're not retreating enough. Okay. I also very briefly before we go into the next card, for Sanctum, where we have the best deals ever for getting a card, but it's a random card. I think if we're reading tea leaves or looking into things, I think that's more than just, hey, look, there's a cool new game mode. I think that's a sign of things to come, whether it's card acquisition change or just future game modes where we'll see a shop like this again. I think in general, we will have a way to get random cards and they'll be cheaper.
Yeah, I think this is so different an approach that they are definitely watching this one. See how it's received, see how people interact with it. I don't know. I've heard some people scolding people for not being excited enough about this, and I won't go that far, but it is a pretty good deal, and maybe you should, if you want to talk about it on socials, maybe you should say that it's a good deal and you I don't know, but if you hate it, you can say you hate it. I'm just saying I think it's a pretty good deal. I hope they do more things in this vein, and I do think that they're dipping their toe in the waters here, and I hope that they find the waters warm. That's my feeling.
Yeah, I'm still going to close out my 2 albums that I'm planning to finish. I just need 2 more variants and I'm done with every album that I want done.
Nice.
For now.
For now, yes, but also it's so much more intimidating to start an album from scratch. So anyway, yes, if there's an album that really tickles my fancy, then maybe. If there's a killer Valk variant at the end of one, they wouldn't do that. But if they did, yeah.
They would. They would.
Just to get me.
I mean, every character is somebody's favorite, Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, after that, I'm going to try to be very conservative with my resources, whether that's, card acquisition update or the next time Sanctum comes back, I want to be able to spend my gold, not on Token Tuesday or the next best bundle, but to just buy a bunch of random Season 5 cards. That would be great. Series 5 cards. Okay. Speaking of Series 5 cards, actually, he's not a Series 5 card. He's the Season Pass card. Agamotto, a 5/10. Shuffle 4 Ancient Arcana into your deck at the start of the game. We've talked about what they are the past few weeks. I'm sure we all got him. Last week, we did not cover the season rankings for this season, so we're going to do that.
Want to amalgamate this? We want to talk about the new cards while also assigning them some number of thumbs pointed in one direction or another.
Yes, right. Let's do it. Except you two always turn the thumbs into points, so I think we're just using a 4-point scale going forward. That was my concession going into this. Before we rank Agamotto, though, I want to talk about skills for a little bit because they're a new card type. We explicitly talked about, like, there's no way they're doing a new card type, you know?
Yeah.
And then they did. These cards do not have power, and that means that they act in unique ways with things like, I don't know, Cassandra Nova and Silver Samurai. And yeah. The other thing is they banish themselves after being played, and that is tied to the card type, not to their on-reveal ability. So like Copycat and Iron Lad, if they copy a skill, they stay on the board, which is very interesting. And also the skills, if you play them with their text removed or like on a Cosmo or something like that, they still banish themselves. Thoughts on skills? Did you like them? Do you like them as a concept? Not these four specifically, but
they're for people like us, right? Like, we are ready for this level, this addition of complexity. Like, that we are the target audience for skills and stuff. I'm a little more worried about what they do for other players of the game. Coming from different places at different points in their card game journey. Like, you're not going to introduce a system that's so complicated that's going to throw me off. Like, it's like I'll eat that shit up, like yum 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 yum.
Yeah.
But like, you don't need to impress me with these skills. I don't know. I find them a little bit worrisome. I kind of think that the one card type is just a pillar of simplicity that you can really build a mighty palace on. That's my feeling. But whatever, like I will enjoy the gameplay, things that happen with skills. I was very excited to put Fastos in my Agamotto Arishem deck because knew that it would discount the cost of all the skills specifically because I read in the patch notes that Fastos will always discount the cost of skills because they have no power to modify. So that's just a fun thing. That's what I'm doing with skills.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's just like, so I think with skills, like, that's exactly it, is that, like, so me and my friends, we were playing Caverna over the weekend. We were laughing at how, like, this ginormous game takes up a huge amount of table space and is just covered with icons. And it's like early in our board gaming journey of like Settlers of Catan or something, we would have seen this. And it was, in fact, we did, because it was like so daunting and it seems like so much in sort. And now we see games like this for the first time, like, oh, easy, because it's just all icons, right? Like,
you just connect it to the three other games, and yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, and it's just this mechanic, good, easy, done. And it's like, so it's like, yes, there are games like this that can just get that, and then there's a smaller and smaller group. And two, it's like, okay, people that have been playing this game for a long time can, incorporate that obviously into the vocabulary. People just entering a game and you now have destroy and different, it does get daunting, and SnapOnThisPod is how easy it is and how simple the text is. And that's why they don't keep it getting long. And that's one reason I just I wouldn't even want to play Magic anymore, is it's like, there's like 50 million different keywords now that only interact with those keywords. And it's just like, bleh. You know what I mean? It's like when I logged back into like Lost Ark or some MMO you played for one, you like, oh, remember the fun times? And I just got a Twitch drop unicorn mount that I can go ride around on. Let's do that for fun. And you log in, you see like 50 currencies and you're like, nah, I'm fucking out of here. I don't remember what this shit does, and I'm not going to figure it out again. I'm done. And it's like, that's where you don't want Snap to go. You don't want to get in where some new player, some returning player is like looking at a wall of stuff they don't want to figure out anymore.
I'm just like, we start with skills, but like, how long is it before you need to decide what your character's equipment loadout is for each card in your deck? Like, which shield did you bring for Captain America? Is it?
It opens the door for more card types.
This is going to just be such a proliferation of bullshit. Honestly,
we're always such doomsayers, though. We're like, change,
are we wrong?
Boo, boo.
Yeah, but like, we've seen things before. Like our worries are not founded on like nothing.
Hey, they didn't do the legendary though. We have to give them that. They took that away, and that was good. Keep that away.
Keep it up. Yep. Don't waffle on that. I don't want to see it in the data mines next month, please. No legendary. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you did. I saw it. That's a W. I counted as such.
Yeah, I think I agree with your concerns. That's like, I worry about this game becoming too complicated too fast. Of course, I will eat it up, but there needs to be a casual base for this game to survive. And also, I don't know, I lost it. I worry about there being a third and a fourth and a fifth card type, which, like, there was a very beautiful elegance in the game design that there was only one type of card. And now it's a little bit gone. And I think they even could have kept it by making the banish this be part of the text and giving them 0 power. Like, I'm sure there's a reason they didn't, but and there's pros and cons to it. Like, the skills aren't necessarily going to be magic. It did also sound like in Team Answers that skills aren't necessarily going to be tokens, which I think is going to be very, very interesting. The first skill that is a card that you can just put in your 12.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. I do like being able to put a card on a location that is the fourth card in that location and doing something influential there and not filling up the board. I do like that. Pros or skills. Okay, let's rate Agamotto. I'm so split between a 1 thumb up and a 2 thumb up. A 3-point and a 4-point. I try to save my 4s for things that I think are going to be like game warping or possibly need to get nerfed. I don't think he's there. I do think that these effects are very powerful and possibly justify the deck thickening. He's certainly very flexible. Like, I think you can just throw Agamotto into a lot of different decks and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I give him a 4 though, because I think he's like, one, the season pass cards have all been pretty great. Plus, like, just images of Icon alone. That's where, I don't know. I've only gotten to play him a little last night. Yeah. That's where, like, my fun was. It's like, because when you're playing it the first time and you see, like, so I didn't have time to, like, do decks, and I was like, I want to play a little bit for the podcast, so I just auto rolled, which I don't know what's the thing I would have gone for, but it had Red Wing, and I'm like, yeah. So, like, it was like a ramp. It was a ramp with Red Wing, and it's just like, when you realize into Doom 2099, that style of, like, ramps, you have alternate routes, and it's got Red Wing, and, like, the only enabler for Red Wing in the deck is Ghost Spider. But when you realize, you're like, I can put on my Ghost Spider and Zabu and Psylocke, or actually only have 2. It was Zabu and Psylocke, and then you Doom, and then on the last turn, you put the images of Icon. It's just Doom everywhere. And you'd already put out 2099. I know. I'm sorry. I'm one of it. I played Arsham. Sometimes I just enjoy crushing my enemies under my giant robot heels. But, like, it's just like, yeah, it's fun when you're just like, Doom everywhere. There's bots, there's Dooms, and you snapped them because you're like, they can't beat this. And they didn't. It was glorious. But then I had a really stupid moment. Sometimes I feel like people run into me and I have to be like, I promise I'm good at cards sometimes. Because I had done all this and I took screenshots. There's several games where images of Icon just, like, was so fun. And then I stupidly just I just do this with new card. I threw him on one card thinking he was going to, like, bar Sinister. And I'm like, and then it was so dumb, and I was so late night, I didn't even have the presence of mind to be like, retreat before they see your foolishness. And we both watched me be, like, so stupid. I'm like, you always have to be like, I hope they don't recognize me. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Tales of a late night re. Okay. Ben? You were saying.
Agamotto, I Okay, so for all of the cards this month, there are 2 ratings that I've got listed. There are 4s, and there are cards that are on the cusp of 3 and 4. And Agamotto is on the cusp of 3 and 4, I would say. I don't think that, like, there are some cards later on the list that I think are going to get nerfed or are going to just be, like, really unpleasant. Like, I'm not looking forward to Firehair. I'm just like, no, thank you.
But her name's
not looking forward to Ghost
first. How very
first
dare you?
rider. I'm saying no, thank you. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm excited to play Firehair. I'm not excited to play against Firehair. Firehair would be a much better card if it said could only be played by cool people doing interesting things.
Cannot mill.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Cannot add rocks to your deck.
So I don't know. Yeah, I guess Agamotto. I think I'll give Agamotto a 3. I kind of wonder if, like, maybe if Agamotto doesn't splash quite hard enough, if they'll, like, buff him and he'll become a 4. I don't know. That would be wild. I wouldn't put it past them. It seems like people are enjoying him, and he's, you know, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he stays as is probably. I don't know. I love Winds of Watum. I just love it. Yeah. I didn't play enough games with my Agamotto Scream deck to, like, know if it's actually good or not. So who knows?
It's good. It's a 2/5.
But I mean, like, if it's actually worth
where it goes.
Playing Agamotto, like, within the Scream situation, is it really worth doing that to your deck just to get Winds of Watum in there? But, like,
yeah, I'm like, Winds of Watum it's Lizard without the ongoing and doesn't take up space. Like, it's a good card.
It's so mean in Sanctum. I definitely played some.
Oh, really? Agamotto and Sanctum. Wow.
I played against some Agamotto and Sanctum.
I definitely played against them.
Once it did, anyway.
They're all just good, like, good cards, mid-range, like, especially Winds of Watum, Bolts of Balthak, and Images of Icon. They're all just, like, good cards you would put in a good cards deck.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't take up room on your board. Right.
They're better than just being good cards. And so then it's like, oh, maybe it is okay that they are taking up draws. And yeah.
Doesn't it make you want to play Nomura? That's what it makes me want to do. Hopefully.
And
then Images of Icon, your Nomura.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking the other night. I was like, oh, that would be so delicious. Yes, please. Do you know the joy I would receive? Like, I need that dopamine.
You just have to have multiple game plans, because if you are, like, working on a reliable combo,
that's the problem.
That's the problem with the deck thickening, and it has to be just, like, good cards where these are splash.
And I don't like playing Magic to guarantee. It's not like my style is to try and guarantee one combo. I like to have
the Agamotto deck. The Agamotto deck I started with was by Scott from SnapFan, and it had, like, all the, like, I don't know about all. It had many of the, like, unique interactions with skills. So it had, like, Gwenpool, who doesn't target the skills. It had, Makari, so that I have a very high chance of hitting Mysterio with all the hits of Gwenpool, and then Images of Icon on the Gwenpool, and I have gigantic Mysterios. Anyway, I was playing King Eitri in that deck, and it's like, and Fastos, like, all the things that interact with the skills, and Quinjet. And let me tell you, a 2-cost Images of Icon is stupid. Anyway, nice. Very fun. Very, very fun. I just don't know how strong it is.
Yeah. I also had all those cards in my Agamotto RSM deck, and I also wasn't sure if any of them were making the deck better. But, they were definitely interesting and fun. And yes, 2-cost Images of Icon or whatever is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I was using quite a bit more than I expected. And I don't know how applicable this is outside of Mysterio, but, like, where Mysterio forces me to play 3 cards at once. On occasion, I was playing a skill and then Mysterio so that spot on that lane would stay open. Which, I mean, you could do with, like, Kitty, I guess. Anyway. Eson, our first spotlight card, out right now. A 6/9 Celestial. After each turn, put a card from your hand that didn't start in your deck here. I think that's actually the old text, but it does the same thing now. I didn't get him, and I think I'm gonna wait until Sanctum's almost over, because what if he's my unowned Series 5 card that I get from Sanctum?
Oh, didn't even occur to me. You'll probably just get a Bruce Banner.
Yeah, probably. That's a chance.
You.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That would be very fitting.
It's rigged, I'm telling you. It's the only explanation.
Bruce Banner, and then Hulkling, and yeah.
Oh, but Hulkling is fun.
At least Hulkling's cool, I guess.
Yeah, he's like a card I keep trying to put in decks, and the keyword is trying, usually. He's a
I've
fun
seen him in
surprise.
some real decks recently, but yeah, I just...
I mean, anything
now
can
that
go in a
Eson
real
is
deck.
around,
You take out
he
one
got
of
a
the real
little better.
cards.
Like,
Huh?
Eson came out, so Emperor Hulkling got, another, like,
Oh, you're
3%
right.
better.
Just
Another
like
good
when
hit.
Dota came out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we must Hulkling again.
Be coming around the mountain when he comes.
Maybe
Okay.
with Namora.
I promise I will play Hulkling if I get Hulkling from Sanctum.
You don't have to.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Lauren,
No,
come
I
on.
will.
No,
I'll play with my
Lauren
new
will do
toy.
it for fun. Lauren
I'll
knows
do it for the memes. I'll do it for the pod.
You'll find
For the
some
vine.
stupid clip that you'll spend. You'll be like, it only took me 300 hours to get this clip
Okay.
of Hulkling.
Yeah. Everything has to go right, and Hulkling has to hit the one
Hulkling
exact
has to write the right 6 card and everything. You would find something, though.
Oh, yeah, that would be
I don't
me.
like this precedent because, like, is someone going to ask me to build a Bruce Banner deck next?
No, Ben, that
Okay,
pressure is
good.
not on you. We know that
Well,
you don't
it's
even play the
super-
fun new cards until they're a few weeks old. It's fine.
That was the assignment. You already got Super Giant, too, so now you have to.
Oh my god! Don't make me play Super Giant.
Okay. Ree, tell me your Eson ratings. And also, did you get them? And
Oh.
also, do you have other thoughts?
Yes, I did for 3 keys. Happy to have a Wiccan variant finally. It's a good one. But yeah.
I love that everybody's into this Wiccan variant, even though it's a
Even
mellow
though it's a
Kinnear.
Ryan Kinnaird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I call
Hey,
them like a
South
season.
clock is right twice a day.
Okay, some of it comes from the fact that I have no Wiccan variant, so like, our standard's low. But
Yeah, that's also where I'm coming at it from. I just it's a card that I found myself playing a lot more than I thought I would, and it would be nice to have an option. I don't hate the base art,
I have not played Eson yet, though, and I haven't seen him yet either, and I want to. It's not that I just, he just came out, though, and I haven't had time, and I've played Sanctum for my missions, so.
I've seen a decent amount of him, and he pulls Agamotto skills I don't know, about half the time I saw him pull Agamotto skills, and they were not helpful.
Okay,
things that I warned about. Yep. 2 of them are bad on the last turn.
No, and for me, from Eson, where it's like you want to control very precisely what he can pull. Okay, sorry. I want to be like, I told you.
Yeah,
Right.
I saw Eson lose my opponent in the game like 3 times.
I love seeing someone own goal. Okay. Only when it doesn't happen to me.
A rating, Ree.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I gave him a 3, though, because I think
For a
it's
card you
good.
haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, we go with our feelings.
Okay. Ben,
Seems
did you
good.
get him?
I got him. I'm also giving him a 3. I mean, I barely I played this card a couple times. It seems it is largely the card that existed in my imagination before. I don't think I know more about it than I did this time last week. It seems like exactly who I thought it was.
Gotcha.
I give
for
it
me,
3.
For me, it's also a cusp card, but I leaned 4 because to me, he reminds me a lot of Zemo and Malekith, where it's just a lot of stats. Even if you're only pulling 1 card with Eson, I think there are going to be decks that do it right. And we already talked about them before. I think it's going to be like Wiccan, Hand Gen, that kind of thing. RSM might, but you have to get lucky for that to work.
I think you're also playing some choice hand generation in that RSM kind of deck. You're probably playing something that's going to give you're probably still generating Eson hits in addition to whatever is in your deck from RSM things.
Yeah.
Right?
But like, I mean, Victoria
just like to guarantee like high quality
holes, like that's great. I'm not upset at that. So I think kind of Asserter, which is like not the same type of card, but I just think fairly niche but strong in the right deck.
Yeah.
Not quite as niche as Surtur, because Surtur is just like, that is the deck.
Oh man, a Moon Girl Surtur, if he was... that's why they didn't make Eson a 10. Because he would like be way too good in Surtur.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they wouldn't count as plays, but it's still like a ton of power. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Starbrand.
I mean, I'm just saying you already have a ton of high power.
They did make Eson a 10, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about that. 610. That was like a last second buff he got.
Oh my gosh.
We have an outdated
notice.
image.
Sorry, I have old images in the show notes.
That's okay.
My bad.
That's okay. We know the other two cards that changed this season. Starbrand, a 3/10 ongoing. Your opponent has +3 power at each other location. Ben, you first.
All right. This one was one of the cuspies, the 3 or the 4s. I am going 4 because this card seems like a 3 to me, but I don't play Sauron. I've never put 0 in a deck. I've never, I've played the Big Dumb Idiots and stuff, and this is kind of a Big Dumb Idiots card. So like, that's sort of like where I start thinking about it. That drawback is like a real stinkeroo if you can't cancel it out, is my feeling. But on the other hand, the 3/10 thing is like, it's bonkers. They put those numbers together on the same card. I am rooting it. Like, I don't think this is a card that I would never want to play, just because like, I don't like it when things go wrong, and the go wrong version of this card when you play it is like pretty bad. So I don't know, but like, I think it's probably a really good card, and if you're into like winning a lot of games and stuff, this one is one to watch. if you think you enjoy playing this kind of deck, you should probably get it, because I bet it's one of the most powerful cards of the month. That's my feeling. I give it a 4.
I'm thinking about vipering one over to my opponent and sending them a moonstone.
No, that ain't it. That ain't it.
I gave Starbrand a 4. He's just big. 3/10 is big, and honestly, the downside is hella manageable. You can do Sauron, you can do 0, you can do Enchantress, you can just deal with the 3 power and make a really big lane. Because
you are getting like even if he is functionally a 3/4, like, you're getting so many bonuses from having him be a 3/10 also. Like, like you're triggering your Surtur and your Scar and all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, put him in a Spectrum deck. Okay, there's a +3 there. That's fine. I also have Iron Man. Like, I'm winning that lane, even though I gave my opponent 3 points. Like, I just think it's a super manageable thing, and 3/10 is just so big.
Wow, I think I disagree. For the one person who's like, oh, I'm definitely going to get him because I have a soft spot for Sauron. He was my first Series 5 card. And you can roll him off the track. A week before he dropped, no less. Anyway, 3/10 is huge. But it's just but he's not, I mean... And yes, there are ways to mitigate him. That's why Sauron works. Because you play 0 and Enchantress and stuff and all this stuff. So I think he's a great card. He's huge. But you're not going to play him in Surfer. I don't think you're playing. I think he goes in Sauron and maybe a handful of other very limited decks. I don't think he's really a card that's going to go in a ton of decks. A card that gives your opponent 6 powers. Just you're going to put in multiple ways to mitigate that, or you're not going to play it, in my opinion, which limits the kind of deck it goes in. So
I just think about Surtur, right? Who hits that 3/10 level, but takes work to do so. And it's just Starbrand just gets it for free. And if you want him to not do the +3, then he's a 2-card combo. Another one I didn't say before, Venom. ta-da, you get to keep the 10 power, and all of a sudden the ongoing is gone. Like, I just think it's a very manageable ability.
A Surtur, like that is a good, because Surtur doesn't mind an Enchantress. You know what I mean? Like Surtur doesn't mind.
Surtur loves it when you play Venom on a thing because, then
you have a new 10 card.
I've never seen anybody do that.
Yeah,
I've seen Hulkbuster, but I haven't seen anybody do Venom. But yeah, that would be totally great. In a turn off a Tuma, and you get another 10 cost card. Or
the problem is then it's just like if you don't have an armor, then you're you're even more vulnerable. So like,
it does take away a hit for Scar, but or like it's net.
That's
anyway.
Like it's not all upside. So
yeah.
But the thing is, too, when you think about a Shang, you want to have enough power that they can't win with just a Shang or a Shang in something very low.
Yeah,
you know
or
what
you're
I mean?
on 3 lanes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I think about a Shang. Anyway.
Is your opponent going to Shang this and take away their own 3 power in 2 lanes? Like,
I mean, it's not the first thing they'll want to Shang.
That's math they have to do.
They would rather, do Cull Obsidian or something. But
yeah, that's true. A lot of math. That's why Bullseye is still just like, nah, you're not doing that.
Somebody's going to Shang a Starbrand and lose the game because they did that, and then their opponent's going to do Sassy Deadpool, and they'll deserve it.
Yes. I don't know about that last part. That last part, you were saying so many true things in a row, Lauren. It was wild.
Okay, yeah. So I actually think you have to do something super clever to justifiably Sassy Deadpool. You can't just Sassy Deadpool when your opponent fucks up. Firehair. I love this card. I think it looks so fun, although I do kind of agree with Ben's sentiment that I want to play it, but I don't necessarily want you to play it.
Yeah, I think you need to apply for a permit to play this card. That's what I think.
She's a 2/3. When one of your cards is destroyed, this uses that card's on reveal. I gave her a 3, and maybe she deserves a 4 because the low-hanging fruit of stuff like Mill and Darkhawk is like disgusting. You misery it, and that's a net of like those on reveals happening 3 times. But I think, I don't know. She's a combo card and she doesn't have great stats, but I think she's super interesting and there's tons of cool stuff you can do with her. But like, I don't know. You look at decks now and how many decks are running destroy cards that aren't destroy decks?
Yeah,
so I don't know if she's going to make the difference.
But it's just it's nice because she's Grandmaster
or a 2/3?
that doesn't.
I kind of think she's a 2/2, right?
This was what I found on one of the sites, Snap.Fans.
Because I think that she changed when Eson changed.
I mean, that's what was on the site earlier today.
2/3.
2/3.
Yep. And I think you're right. I think she was a 2/2 and she changed to 2/3. I don't know. I just think there's insanely cool stuff you can do with her. I don't know. There's some Phoenix Force shenanigans, and if you destroy the Phoenix Force, then she does Phoenix Force and revives that. I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. There's so she's Grandmaster's cost with but like less Grandmaster, like people know because they move mid. It's like when I play goblins and stuff, I try specifically to drop them mid. So it can't be Grandmaster back to me. You know what I mean? It's a little bit, and this doesn't, it's triggered a different way, but it's not quite as told. And yes, Phoenix Force is what I'm excited about because like Phoenix Force is a really fun card and idea, but it's so narrow, right? Like when I see Phoenix Force, it's really just the same deck, like maybe 1 or 2 cards different.
Yeah, it's like Torch, Multiple Man, and then a backup Nimrod,
or sometimes Dagger and stuff. But like Force deck. And then it's like Deathlock and so it's just like it's not fun for me when there's just the one deck usually. So like, So I just gave her a 3 because it's she's only 2/3 and like repeating stuff is great.
Ben, Firehair.
Seems like a 4 to me. That's what I think. Yeah, repeating stuff is great, and this just seems like you're going to be double dipping on a whole lot of things. And yeah, I think this is a card that's going to have multiple homes. I think it's going to be a problem. That's what I think.
I kind of think so too, and maybe it deserves a 4 because I think it might need to be nerfed, but I don't. To me, it seems more like a card that's annoying than a card that's good.
Oh, this card is going to be backbreaking. This is not going to be an annoying card. This is going to be unfun when it happens to you.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's the it's like the opposite of the Black Swan problem or whatever, where there are decent 1-cost on reveals, but it's not good to save them for the end of the game. Mostly, it's like she lets you do those cheap on reveals early and often.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. She is the most interesting card to me this month by a long shot. I would be shocked if I don't have some cool Firehair clips by the end of the month. I don't know what the idea is. I'm bad at planning them ahead of time, but something will strike my fancy. I'll be like, oh, that would be really cool. First Ghost Rider. This is an event card. To 5 got changed. And where's the text? There it is. On reveal, discard the lowest power card from your hand. Lowest power. Remove that card's power from this. And we did get it confirmed in a team answer that if first Ghost Rider discards Hobgoblin, it just treats it as a 0. For that reason, I guess it's not my turn, but for that reason, I gave it a 3. It's good, but it's not the absolutely busted thing we thought it might be. That's it. I think it's playable, but not like it's not automatically better than Colleen Wing.
I've played quite a bit of discard, and the thing is, this is a bullseye deck card. When you think about where it goes, it's like the one where you want to have Deken, you want to have Scorn, so you're playing, and I'm like not really. I was doing some more bullseye to be like, because I just. Discard's been a comfort place for me, and I don't have anything I'm really excited about in it currently. And I'm not hyped for Bullseye, but for a lot of other decks, other than that, like, I kind of think you don't. Yeah, like, would I replace Blade with this? Not if I'm playing Apocalypse. And it's just Scorn. You want to be playing Deken as well as Scorn. You know what I mean? So like that's where I'm at. So it's just a 2 for me, I think. I mean, but it's good. Like it's the kind of thing too when you discard, you're excited about locate. It's like, sure, I'll play this on their Cosmo, when they did that to me because they saw I'm a discard deck. I'll play this on other things. So it's never bad to have like a 2/5 in hand that you're willing to blank out. But it's just like when you look at this tight discard deck and the other cards it's replacing, for me, this is like bullseye or bust, right? Kind of strategy.
I think it's a good Khonshu guy, and also hella he hits Iron Man and Gore.
I think Apocalypse is the only kind of discard deck that doesn't want this card.
It's my usual
Black Knight.
This is what I'm not jazzed about. Like, Bullseye is like meta discard right now, and then very recently Hella, right after the OTA or whatever.
Apocalypse is still fine.
It's fine, but it's like I haven't had any new toys for a while. I'm bored. All right.
I mean, that sounds like a you problem. I don't know.
I know. I'm sorry that Bullseye doesn't do it for me. Like much joy. I should. It's got me.
I meant Apocalypse. Like that Apocalypse has not received any new toys recently enough for you.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not the problem. Is that I don't like Bullseye, and I'm sad because like I said, there's a lot of cards in the Bullseye deck that I love. Like I always want to play Deken, I always want to play free, and Collector, but this combination is just not enjoyable for me. Maybe it's password anyway.
I'm just saying. This is a great way to discard Iron Man. It's a great way to discard Gore.
You are right. I forget.
There's a lot of stuff that it's great to discard. Could
also be Morbius, although I don't think Hella ever plays that.
I think Hela could. I think it could be fun. You know, I
don't
think
want
you
to
need
your Morbius. Like, you don't want Colleen to do that. You don't want this.
Yeah,
I think in Hela.
I think you want other things. Like, sure, you want to discard Iron Man, but you do need another thing that this card would discard. So I think maybe you do play Morbius in that kind of Hela deck. I don't know.
I think that's why I don't like Hela is because it's so like the random at the end. There's like the strategy isn't fun. The strategy
we all
is like,
hate Hela.
Can I get to play Hela? But I didn't realize why. And it's just like, because it's like, oh, this should be fun. And they all pop up. And I don't mind some randomness. But it's like, your whole goal is just to be like, can I discard stuff and get to Hela? And then it's just like, and then when you're playing against Hela, you're like, well, maybe this shit will like, whatever.
It's linear. And then there's a bunch of output randomness. Like, just let them go where they go.
Okay. Bullseye feels similar to that for me for some reason. Okay.
This card is a targeted discard card. It's going to be nuts. It's also a 2/5. That's pretty good.
Depending on what you're discarding, like I said,
I'm saying you're only discarding 0 power things.
Sometimes maybe a
1-power thing. If you're doing a docking thing, you can discard a 1-power thing. But I think that in Khonshu and Hela, this is going to be about discarding 0 power or less things. Honestly, like, even though you can't get even though we're breaking the rules of simple mathematics and stuff, and you wouldn't eat the Hobgoblin power, you certainly wouldn't shrink from discarding Hobgoblin. It sounds like you're still a 2/5 if you discard Hobgoblin, and that could be a fun thing to resurrect with Hela. Not a fun thing to resurrect with Khonshu, though. That's a great way to lose a game right there, giving them a 12 power Hobgoblin. But anywho, I just think that this card is going to be like so good in the decks that it's good in. It's going to be so good in Hela. It's going to be so good in Khonshu, and I think Khonshu is going to be pretty real. That's what I think.
Khonshu will be exciting.
Apocalypse is like the only kind of discard deck that doesn't want this. And I mean, maybe Bullseye, but honestly, I think you're right. I think you would want it in Bullseye, right? Like,
that's what I was saying, though. It's definitely a Bullseye card.
I'm saying, like, it's probably a Bullseye card, but it's definitely a Hela card, and it's definitely a Khonshu card.
Okay, on to Khonshu. Khonshu, 6/5. When discarded, returns in its next phase. On reveal, resurrect a card you discarded to another location with its power set to 5. And then the future phases, the Khonshu Waxing is a 6/8 now. That sets the resurrected card to 8. Khonshu Full is a 6/12. If you discard it, it does not come back. And it's on reveal, resurrect something to 12 power. I skipped. I took my turn twice in a row. Ree, you go first.
It's a 4 for sure. I mean, not just because I think it's good, a lot of excitement. I'm excited for something new. I like, Moon Knight. I like Khonshu. So all of its hype. We've talked about it before. And I just think if you're into discard, which I am, but I say that and it's like I keep forgetting about Hela because I never played that. But I think it's one of those cards that, discard player you're gonna have to get. 4 stars. Hype. That's where I'm at on it.
Ben?
This is another one that was on the cusp. I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure if this is a 3-point or a 4-point kind of card. I do think it's going to be good enough to be its own new sort of discard archetype. I wish it played a little nicer with some of the older discard cards, but that's fine. I think it's going to be worth doing the Khonshu thing, and I think that the Ghost, the First Rider, is really going to enable it. I mean, like, resurrecting a 12 power thing in a guaranteed, like, separate location from your own 12 power thing that you like played on purpose. Like, I love hitting multiple lanes. This seems it's similar to Hela in that you don't know exactly where you're putting the thing, but it's more controlled than Hela in that you eliminate one of the options, and that's quite frankly usually good enough to feel like you're in control of the game. Yeah, I think this is a strong effect. I don't think it's going to be that hard to discard him twice. I mean, even if you only discard once, 16 power on the last turn in 2 different places. If one of the 8 powers is Iron Man, that's 24 power right there already. Plus, whatever else is in the Iron Man lane.
Plenty of power.
Or Gore. Yeah, this looks like a very real card to me. Doesn't really require a lot of imagination to get there. Like, there are some of these cards where I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is busted, but it feels like it's probably busted. This one, I can trace the contours of its bustedness with my mind's eye. It's I see it. It's 4. I'll give it 4.
I'm giving it 3. I think that it is a lot like an Apocalypse. Like it's going to be its own deck. It replaces Apocalypse, and you make the adjustments accordingly. Like you don't run Dracula probably. But you do run a big hit like Iron Man or Gore that you want to bring back with Khonshu. I think it's a little tricky to get him up to full, not discard him a third time, and also discard something that's going to be his target, but maybe not too many things because you only want him to have 1 or 2 targets. Like, I think that balance is going to be a little bit tricky. Maybe you just gamble. Maybe you don't care. You have a whole pile of things to resurrect and you don't care what it is because it's coming back as a 12. But like, I don't know. Do you run MODOK in this? Like, I don't know. I think it's super.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Like, I think it's super interesting.
In most card decks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think in this one you want to be a lot more like clinical or surgical. That's the word I'm looking for. Which is interesting. It's a different deck type, and I think I think its peaks will be higher than Apocalypse, but I think less reliably. Pro though, it's more mobile. It's more flexible.
It's more Moon Knight, old Moon Knight. The joy of old Moon Knight of always discarding a random card.
Yeah,
missed that.
Like Dracula and Morbius in an APOC deck, they have to come down early. You know where the big APOC explosion is going to be. Whereas Khonshu, you get the 50-50 and you don't know where Khonshu is going to drop. So like, that's the trade-off. It's a little bit less consistent, but it gets to be more dynamic, responding to what the opponent's doing. You're not leaving of something vulnerable to Red Guardian on the board, at least not Dracula.
I've been thinking about it a little harder. I think you probably do play MODOK, and I think it's probably fine. I think hopefully
if nothing else has done right.
I think that if you're playing MODOK, you've probably emptied your hands of all the small supporting cast. You know what I mean? Like, if you're playing MODOK, you're probably only pitching things you want to pitch, like Khonshu for the second time or something, and whatever you would like to add to the guest list.
When you are playing a discard deck, you often want to discard a lot of things, and MODOK is the best at that.
All right, there was a patch this week. One of the big features, headlining public immediate features, was the series drop. And then, of course, the addition of Agamotto with skill cards. The patch notes talked about some of the unique features of skills that we've already talked about. Yondu changed from a destroy to a banish.
Where did we hear that predicted? I can't imagine.
Yeah, was that just last week? I think.
Yes, it was.
Called it.
You did.
It didn't touch Kang, who I thought would also be a
no. That also seemed logical. Yeah,
but they were like, Kang's code is brittle. We're like.
Why put Banish on this card that I think they would rather just rework from?
Nobody's playing it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, when Kang removes himself from the game, he does not appear in the Banish pile, or at least that's my understanding. I haven't tested it.
Yeah. Not in a hurry to experience that firsthand, just to verify that.
Yeah.
I don't know. People play Kang.
couldn't tell you the last time I saw a Kang.
I mean, I don't understand how or why, but I see some real players playing Kang sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to say that their experience is not valid because they're probably in our audience.
Honestly, I would play
Kang playing listeners.
I would play Kang more if the animation wasn't so slow.
True.
I don't know that I would be playing it in anything competitive, but
one other big feature this patch that we haven't mentioned is the created cards change. That
I was just going to say,
hits a lot of cards.
Yeah, Gorgon, its-rie, Quinjet, and Mockingbird all get their text changed so it's not... they changed to the word created card, which is a functional change because now cards from your opponent's deck will not count. Yeah,
for comparison, these used to be cards that talked about cards that didn't start in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because that used to be like how we talked about these generated cards or whatever, or how most cards talked about it, except for Victoria Hand, who just existed to make.
Yeah. Well, she's more specific. Created in hand,
just like such a little subgroup of a subgroup. It's a little messy thing.
Yes, I agree. But right along with this messy thing, like a whole bunch of cards got end of turn text. Similar to like the game start text that we saw some other cards change to. I think those changes are great. They make it, simpler and more straightforward, but also they got tool tips.
But I also don't think that this end of turn change fixes the problem that I mentioned last week, where there are so many different ends of turn. If there could just be one end of turn and all of the checks happened at once, that would just like be stellar for my desire to live in a world that makes sense.
Like you want like player end of turn, location end of turn, and
I just think that like things that like check for end of turn to like all like look around at the same time. What's happening right now at the end of the turn? Okay,
in their reveal order. Yeah, I think that would be reasonable.
I honestly think from comments I've seen that maybe they didn't quite think it out. Okay, this is being mean speculating well enough ahead of time, and then they got these technical windows, how they built the code for where effects happen, and now that dictates a lot of what window they can put in rather than the best game design.
I think you might be right about that. They box
themselves in by not thinking and planning out their code and design well
there's
enough
some
in advance to accommodate. The card game way of where you have a specific order things happen in. It's like in Magic the Gathering, it's so important. It's like this, and exactly this order. Attacks, this. You know what I mean? And card games, that's the whole thing. So anyway.
And I don't think there's nothing in game. It's just that the digital game enforces the rules and you have to trust that it's doing its job. There's nothing in game that teaches you that player effects happen, then location, then character. So like you put your Havoc on Hala and you think that the 4 power is going to save you, but no, because Hala explodes before the 4 power goes off. The tooltips are great. Cards that have certain words like merge and steel power and cards that have been afflicted with negative power, those all have like things you can tap to get like a more full explanation of what they do. And there's a handful of cards that have specific text of what they do, like Symbiote Spider-Man like specifically says the on reveal ability will repeat. So I think that's a great tool and will support doing more complicated cards. Similar to the card changes, there were a few location changes. Hotel Inferno, like Yondu, changes to be a banish instead of a destroy. I don't know why this caused Yondu and Hotel Inferno to lose their animations. Like, you could do the exact same animation and just say it's banished instead of destroyed. But
I'm surprised to learn that just now. Yeah, that's wild.
The animations aren't there. So, like, you play on Hotel Inferno, there's no animation at all. You have to go into your banish pile to figure out what happened.
That is goofy.
Yeah. Speaking of the banish pile, though, you can now tap on cards in the discard destroy banish pile to see them examine. That's a huge improvement.
Huge.
And you can see their modified power.
Yeah, that was driving me nuts.
Yeah. Although I've seen that there's some bugs with this where it's like just showing the wrong cards in those piles. Like somebody discarded 1 Infinite and there's 2 in the pile, and it's just like.
Right. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Cool.
Yeah, so I love the change that you can examine those. That should have always been there. but it needs to be reliable or it's pointless. Sandbar and Panopticon changed to reference created cards. I think that's everything that's in the patch that's like, public notes. There's a few bug fixes that are great, like the Madam Web moving multiple cards thing that used to crash the game. And for Ben, Sebastian Shaw's animation is faster. I don't know how often you're doing Wong things with Sebastian Shaw. Probably not
almost
as much as
never. But and any speed up on it affects games that don't have Wong too. That's my feeling. Sebastian Shaw's been taking a little too long for a little too long. This is
like the Wong, Ironheart, Odin, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this like long pause in the middle of every single Ironheart buff. Anyway, or Surfer. Okay, let's look at the Datamined cards for next month. The patch or the OTA, I think it was the patch, had some changes for April's cards. We're just going to save those for when we're doing April season rankings in a couple weeks. But we got May cards. First up, our season pass for May, Esme Cuckoo. I think she's a clone or a daughter of
She's
White
one
Queen.
Of the Stepford Cuckoos. They're like they were proteges of the White Queen. This is
it
from
sounded like they had her DNA
X-Men.
too.
A hive mind.
I mean, like, I'm sure many things have happened since then. Maybe they're all Emma Frost clones now.
Well, now, like, actually in Nyx, one of them, they've kind of, like, because they're like Emma Frost, like, sometimes they evil, and but like one has turned against her sisters to join with Miss Marvel after. Well, first she betrayed her, obviously, because it was like, sorry for spoiling this comic for anyone who wanted to read NYX. But yeah, she came in intending to double cross Miss Marvel, but through the power of friendship, Miss Marvel, she eventually, after the double cross, then double crossed her own sister to become her own woman. Anyway, but
everybody's right. When they were first introduced, they were not clones of Emma Frost, but now they have been retconned to be grown from ova cells harvested from Emma Frost.
It sounded like they were like stolen from her, which is disturbing.
When I met them, they were just quintuplets that she had taken a shine to. That's how it was in New X-Men, as I recall.
Part of the reason I bring that back is because Esme has the same stats as her, biological clone host. 3/4. On reveal, copy a card from your deck into your hand, set its cost to 3 and power to 4.
This is such a weird card to be a season pass card, right? Because it's a wonky card. Okay, you're right. That makes it powerful, but it's just like it's one of those that it's like, it's got such a deck building requirement.
I would like a 3/4 Iron Man. I'd like a 3/4 Arnim Zola.
Okay, I'm not like dissing it as a card. I just think it's weird that it's a season pass card. Of course, I love this card. We're gonna put it with Anti-Venom and throw it with, like you said, Iron Man. All the fun things. It does seem fun. It seems like the kind of fun I would go for, not like
mainstream.
Yeah, this isn't mainstream
you
fun.
can play it in Surfer and just like do cool things. Now I have an extra silver Surfer, and this one's a 3/4 instead of a 3/2. I mean, like, this is just
this card's cool awesome. Card. Yeah,
you've never said so many things that I liked in a row.
You wound me, Ree. You wound me.
Okay. I think that's super cool. There's not a lot of ways we have to copy a card. Right? Like, I mean, we have Frigga and Nico and Moon Girl,
and they're all good. Like, copying a card is drawing a card. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben's on a roll with this. I like everything Ben's
the momentum is so much better than Frigga's.
Yeah, this is like Frigga, except fun. Like better. Like, I felt very ambivalent about Frigga, and I still do. But like, this one is just like, whoa, there are so many right ways to play this card, much fewer wrong ways to play this card.
Yep, love it. Okay, the first week spotlight, at least, these are data-mined, subject to change. Surge, a 2/2. On reveal, give the top card of your deck -1 cost and +1 power. After you play it, repeat this ability.
I don't know if this card stays like this.
You think it's too good?
Yeah.
But it forces you to play your top deck.
Yeah, you want to play any card that costs 1 less and has +1 power.
And then
especially
also buys you
one of the
another
ones you
energy.
Built around.
Yeah.
And it's good all the way up till 5. The only turn you really don't want to play it probably is turn 6, right? Like,
but yeah, just throw this in a deck with a bunch of 2s, 3s, and 4s and just go off.
I think, in a low curve deck, like I was thinking that Bass deck that I've been playing, this would be extremely good, where the sequencing doesn't matter super a lot. Like, I'm fine playing any card except for maybe Havoc before turn 4.
I just I look at this card and I would play it in I think about all the decks that I have built in pretty much recent memory, and I'm just like, why wouldn't I be playing this card in that deck? This is if you like playing cards that cost 2, 3, and 4, just play this card.
And even if she hits a 6 cost and you can't play it until turn 5, but you get 2 hits of Surge and
if you can't play it until turn 5, you have screwed up.
Well,
you're
not optimizing her, but that's still cool to play a 6 cost a turn early, and
that should tell you how good this card is. That if you fuck up and you're not doing the chain reaction and you only get the first link, it's still worth playing. That's how nuts this card is. This card is nuts.
All right, fair. I'm not as high on it. I think that it's good, but you need the right deck.
I don't think we see it with this text. I think that's unlikely to hit the streets in this form.
Okay. Prodigy, a 3/4 on reveal. If this is in the back row, copy the text of the card in front of it.
I'll say right now, this is the first card that has convinced me that this front row, back row mechanic is interesting in the slightest.
Sequencing shit.
I was not convinced. I had not seen any sort of proof of concept, what was cool about this, but this card is cool.
Copying text is a lot cooler than buffing power.
Dum Dugan,
and the previous season pass card. April season pass card is a row card that just buffs power. Captain Carter.
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing with this? Because generally speaking, you're going to be copying something that has lower cost.
Yeah. So you know what? What's a cool thing you want to copy? You want to copy Morbius. That's a cool thing to copy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's easy to put.
He's got just a free repeat an on reveal for lower cost cards,
or steal an ongoing is my feeling.
Well, it's not,
you could play him behind Mr. Fantastic.
Ooh, and then Moonstone all of them.
Yep.
See, that's what I feel like would be better. Because the problem, once again, with Morbius is the more non-discard cards you're putting in a discard, the best room you have for other non-discard cards.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best example I could have pulled out. But I'm just thinking of what's a smaller card than Prodigy that you would want to steal the text of, and
I think some of Nico's spells.
Yeah, that's definitely on the list. Yeah. I think there are going to be a ton of good targets for this.
There are going to be some wacky things you can do with Move, because you can resequence cards using Move. It's Prodigy's copying Nightcrawler or Jeff, and then you can move him somewhere else to copy some other card's text.
Well, if you move him, you don't get the on reveal again, do you?
Oh, you're right.
His on reveal, it only checks the one time to copy the text of whoever is standing in front.
I didn't realize it was an on reveal.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
But there's still stuff you can do with that, right?
Yeah.
Prodigy is also an NYX. It's been a fun series. There's this whole view issue that was from his viewpoint that I think is this. And I'm trying to remember, it was a little bit ago, but this almost essay on the difference of being a mutant versus an X-Men, and just what it means. Just was kind of a good Anyway, NYX has been fun. But it was my introduction. I wasn't that familiar with this character before this.
I think I've seen Prodigy in like a Pride special, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm like 90% sure. Elixir, a 1/1. Activate. The next time one of your cards is destroyed this turn, interesting text, revive it here.
I mean, yeah.
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 I mean,
you gotta say more than that.
This card's nuts, right?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's really good.
It's Shang protection. What else do we like about it?
You X23.
Oh no, you're destroying your card on purpose, right?
Yeah, generally,
sure.
yes.
Sometimes you'll be undoing a Shanging, but like mostly you're like resurrecting a thing that you like Zola'd or ate or miseried or like you're bringing back your thing, right? Like definitely, yeah. Or Deadpool.
Like you want to see it's like what Aranya used to do for. She's no good for Deadpool anymore now. Friendship with Aranya over.
You can't revive Deadpool.
Oh, you're right.
That's
You
true
probably
because
can't. Deadpool will go back to your hand.
Effect.
Sad. Okay.
All right. Well,
yeah, you're right.
Even the misery things, like everything else. Like, did you eat a big thing with Venom? Did you like? Honestly, you could eat a big thing with Carnage, and it's still worthwhile.
I like the misery Firehair stuff. That's, and then you get a 4th proc by using Elixir.
Yeah. This is just. It seems. Too good is my feeling.
But it's only a 1/1.
No, but it's a 1. Like it's an activate 1, and that's like the best kind of activate.
Yeah,
a 1 cost activate. Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Is Aranya the only one right now?
Yeah. Oh, E-Tree.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Good.
I need to play more E-Tree.
I played him yesterday, and I forgot
There's so
about
many
him.
cards I need to play more of. Sanctum has ruined it because, like, you can't play just anything in Sanctum.
It's true. The last spotlight card that season, May, Zorn, a 2/3.
Zorn. Marvel Snap Lore wanted this one.
Yeah, manifested it. After any 3 or 4 cost card is played here, move it to another location.
So, like, Red Wing, yay!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this card is awesome, right?
I'm not a super... Yeah, I know.
Giving me big Topaz vibes. I'm loving it. It's also very flavorful. For those who don't know, I mean, technically, there's a Zorn that's not Magneto, but for all, like, when originally introduced, this character was just Magneto in disguise, and like they thought the character design was too cool, so they decided that there should be some version of this character that wasn't Magneto. Okay. But
anyway, that's the inverted
that's
Magneto
why it moves
ability.
3 and 4 cost cards is because it's Magneto.
Yeah.
It's in the regular X-Men title right now, which is very good as well. The best I've ever read of Cyclops. Anyway, and that's like, I've seen him in the background before, but this is the first time he's been a main enough character for me to notice Zorn.
But yeah, Zorn was introduced in Grant Morrison's run of New X-Men in the early 2000s, and it's real good comics. That's my recollection. I read it at the time, and it stuck with me. That's also where we get Cassandra Nova. It's where we get a lot of these characters.
I think it's kind of interesting defensively. Like if you have your deck built to deal with it, and your opponent might not.
Oh yeah, true. Like I'm mostly thinking of like what's the stuff I want to do with Zorn, but like it is also very effective at inconveniencing the opponent.
They can't play 3 and 4 costs there. Yeah, I think about Asteroid M and how influential that can be.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like you play a Storm on it, and that's not as cool now that she's a 4. Anyway. I'm not super jazzed about it, but it's interesting, and I think
this card is nuts. This card's going to be bonkers good.
You like the move card?
Yeah, I know. Okay. Shocking.
These next 3 are set to release directly to Series 4 in January 1st, 2026. So who knows when they're actually coming? I'm assuming they're event cards. First up, Kid Omega. I'm psyched about this card. A 2/2, activate, destroy the next card you play this turn. I would love that card if it just ended there, but destroy the next card you play this turn to gain its power. I was just bemoaning the other day that like I love Negasonic where she is now, but I do miss that we had a reliable way to destroy our own cards as we played them. Like Nico is the only way to do that, and that's obviously unreliable. But I mean, low-hanging fruit like Nimrod.
Okay.
If we want to talk about low-hanging fruit, a little card called what's his name? Starbrand? Is this the Starbrand I've been hearing about?
So you have a 2/12 that doesn't have the bad ability?
Yeah. And you can do it like right on curve, like is TVA out? That's how you win a TVA. Ooh, baby. Kid Omega into Starbrand in a TVA match? Wow. They better have Shang-Chi. Dang.
Side note, Kid Omega is also in the main X-Men title, hanging out with Psylocke. But but you guys meant like finally this is the Deadpool card. Like, this card would be great with Deadpool.
This is more of a Deadpool card, yes.
I mean, this card is going to be great with like everything. It's too good.
Yeah. You're right. I didn't think about that. It's also another like zero sort. You know? Yeah. That'll be fun.
Gaining the power is awesome. There's going to be some nut stuff that you can do with that. I mean, use this with Elixir. Blow up the card and then bring it right back.
Exactly. Yep.
Make a gigantic Venom, blow it up, steal its power, and then bring it back. There's definitely cool stuff you can do with this.
Yeah, it doesn't require the destroy archetype to be good. So it feels like this will be a musket for its like Brad.
Yeah, this is for everyone.
2 power or 2
extremely interesting card.
Delicious. It's gonna have really fun games.
I think it's too like it's just too powerful. I just don't think it can live like this. I think something's gonna happen to it before release.
Activate slows it down just a little bit.
Just a little. But also allows you to line up the perfect shot.
Do really cool sequencing. Yeah. I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but I will say it is a common thing that I've wanted to do with clips where I need to clear something out of the way.
Yeah, you just wish you had a activate, destroy the next card you play.
This is going to be beautiful for that. Like cards where I'm like, I could do this with old Negasonic, but now I have to have the 1 in 7 chance of Nico working. And this just seems like such a fun card. And a good card. Those are my favorites. The ones that are fun and good. Okay.
Yeah.
Hellion, 5/8 on reveal. Next turn, you can move cards to this location. Just you, not your opponent. This isn't Cloak.
Mm-hmm. I want to like it. I don't dislike it. I'm just not.
You're like, it does move.
Like, I kind of think that like 5/8 is
too expensive for your blood.
Yeah, like why are we making all of turn 5 about Cloak when like you can already play Cloak on turn 5? Don't know if you should, but you can.
I've seen people do that.
This is still going to telegraph Heimdall so hard. Like that doesn't solve the real problem with playing Cloak on 5, which is that like. Yeah. Oh man.
And honestly, people don't usually take advantage of Cloak because there's usually a Craven involved that you're avoiding. So Cloak usually ends up one-sided anyway.
I don't see the need for this card. This is like nobody asked for this.
And it doesn't like combo with you're like, okay, so you could protect some big card or something by moving it, maybe, but like what does it combo with? Like you need some other added benefit. Yeah, it's weird.
I think this is another card that's not going to release like this just because it's not exciting enough. And
would it be more exciting if it was
big tombstone energy? Like
would it be more exciting if it was move cards from this location? I think that would be a little bit more exciting.
I mean, then it's just a one-time Madam Web. I mean, like, it is like a one-time Madam Web that has multiple, like, you can move 3, but like...
But then you could diversify with it anyway. I think this card's
have Madam Web.
I don't think this needs to be in a move deck.
Yeah. Who is this for?
Red Wing!
I think it's a good card. Just, like, goes in good cards. Your opponent stacked up a lane that's unwinnable. Oh, well, and just yeet your guys out of it. Like, let's move your power that you invested in elsewhere. or, some location popped up and messed things up. You can now play safely into blind locations or unrevealed locations, because if Borrow with No Name shows up, you can get out.
I mean, it was already so safe.
Yeah, I know. I do it all the time. Anyway, finally, Mercury, a 2/2, a card that I only know because she's on that one pixie variant. You can move this once. Ongoing, enemy cards here can't move. You know why I love this?
Why do you love it, Lauren?
Cannonball.
That's a great reason to love this. I had not considered
Bring that Cannonball, Professor X, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would do that. I enjoyed the Cannonball Professor X days of just
because it's a lockdown card
against the Professor X wall.
Wow. And you don't even need it to do its you can move this once, but I mean that is pretty handy.
It's very handy. That's always a good ability. Yeah. I will play a lot of this card if she releases like this.
I like stopping moves. Moves usually something I'm not super countered against because, I like to play Red Guardian stuff, and you need a Shang. You have to destroy all that power and stuff. And it's I would like to ruin a move player's day. Not Ben. It's never Ben's. Just some other move player.
I don't think move is so prevalent that you run this card just
No, you absolutely have a proactive plan for what's happening with this card.
Right.
It's an ongoing card, so it definitely, once again, goes in the Spectrum deck of I got counters for a bunch of shit that I'm going to beef up later.
Which also has a pretty weak area in the 2 ongoing, with the exception of Sam
and also,
Wilson.
if we are doing typal reward things for ongoing stuff, I like that they have one that can move itself once, because even if it is sort of unrelated to its ongoing function, or these things don't exist completely independent of each other. It is interesting to have that ongoing ability on a card that moves once, but I also think it's just interesting to have an ongoing card of any kind that happens to be able to move once, because having a card that moves once is a cool thing to have in your deck.
Ben Anderson uses this move missionary, all cards can have a little move. Let it not be limited to the move archetype. Let everyone enjoy really its benefits.
I like these these lanes, the synergies that are mix and matchable, the sort of the modular ones, your surfer thing, you can do a discard surfer thing, a move surfer thing, a stationary surfer thing, are we doing tech surfer things, are we doing proactive surfer things? I like that sort of stuff. So everybody should be able to have a little dash of move in there, even if you're not
little spice.
Synergizing hard on it. Just doing a little bit of move stuff is good for you,
It's
a card with read.
It's so mean that she can pin them down all game and then move the last turn.
Scoot. Yep.
Yeah.
Which doesn't stop a Heimdall, but it stops Madam Web.
And does it not stop a Heimdall? I think you can do some things there.
Definitely, yeah.
If you scoot it to the middle lane, those middle cards can't move, and then the cards on the right lane can't move. This card has interesting interactions with Heimdall, I think.
Yeah.
I think you can, depending on what the board state is, you can screw them up pretty hard.
All right. Those are the 8 cards for May-ish. I think they're so fun. I don't know hardly any of these characters, but the abilities are fun. And maybe I was unfairly hard on February season, but I'm so glad that there's, April and May especially, but also this month, there's a bunch of fun cards, things that I want to be doing, things that I'm excited to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think some of them are a little too powerful, but
duly noted. I'm sure they'll change.
That's true. It's real early. We just got them.
It is.
Yeah, we already had a bunch of the April ones change. Okay, on to our side quests. this week, the secret homework was to design a card that used the Banish keyword. Not just a skill. I mean, we didn't know about skills last week, but I want to interact with Banish. So it was my homework to assign. So I will report first. I did the Super Adaptoid, which is I don't know, like a robot guy who copies. He's like a whole Avengers team in one. I think he's a bad guy. Anyway, I wanted something that could learn from skills. He's a 4/6 ongoing. Gains power equal to the combined cost of your banished cards.
Oh.
Wow.
Banished.
So that's, I was like, I want something that gets stronger when he sees, skills happen.
It doesn't go with Agamotto.
Things get banished.
Oh no, because the cost, not the power. So, because
so if you
I was like, wait a minute, how does this have?
If you played like the 3 cheapest skills, then he's a 4/12. It's just bonus power for everything you banish. Maybe you run Yondu too, although that's your enemy's banished cards.
I think it's a cool design, and also the Super Adaptoid is a great pull. I always confuse this character with the DC Comics character Ultra Humanite because they both have like similar nonsense names. That's just a fun thing. I don't know if y'all know about Ultra Humanite.
Do not.
He's a big white monkey. DC's got a lot of monkeys. Marvel's got a lot of monkeys too. Just apes all around. Superhero comics never short on ape themed characters. Your Gibbons, your Grods, your these, that's, and the others. Anywho, so yeah, I always think Super Adaptoid sounds a lot like Ultra Humanite. They're forever linked in my mind as far as goofy comics characters with goofy names.
Same.
Yeah, that's a very cool design, Lauren. I dig it.
Thanks. Ree's assigning next week's homework. So Ben, what's your banish card?
Me. All right. I had, once I had the idea, I sort of had to do it. I'm not sure I found a way to make this card balanced or practical, or like I could either make this card like useless or like way too good or too situational. I don't know. You'll either like it or you won't, but my card is Avalanche. The stat line I settled on is 2/3. On reveal, banish all rocks everywhere to give Avalanche +2 power for each.
Yes. Whoa. And he gains power.
Yep.
I like it. That's amazing.
Honestly, I think that's the type of card we need in the game, right? For the people who hate Subterranea. But also
it'll protect you from rocks. It also is an interesting plan B in a Darkhawk situation. Although you're pulling the ripcord, you're definitely not doing Darkhawk if you play this card. Like that's, who
cares about blowing up their rocks when it's turn 6?
Yep.
They've already done their
if Darkhawk never showed up, or if they've thrown the Darkhawk lane. And you're like, I need another big transfusion of power somewhere else, and I can afford to lose a little power off the Darkhawk lane. Maybe then you play Avalanche in a different lane. I don't know. Like, I just thought it would be an interesting card. It's we've all wanted a way to clean out the rocks, right?
Yeah, I love it, and I think Banish is exactly like. It would be too good if it was Destroy, right?
And I also like that, it fixes the problem on the board. If you've got a problem on the board, like a collapsed mine or whatever, or debris, or, if you need to get rocks off the board, you can get rocks off the board. You can get them out of your deck. You can gobble them from your opponent. Like, it just seemed like a card for all seasons. That's
good synergy with debris. Very cool card.
I'm just not sure about the numbers. Like, I think I either made a busted card or a useless one.
It was +2 per rock?
It was +2 per rock. I thought about +1, but I was like, that's not anything.
It seems hard to to get it
really
off. So I think it deserves the
debris is 4 hits though.
That's That is a lot, isn't it?
But you're also taking off all the clogs, so I don't know.
And you have to get debris, like, hey, Wongzilla Black Panther is pretty, like, powerful a bit. Yeah.
I don't think I bet I got it in the neighborhood of where it should be.
+2 is a lot more fun. I think that would be like try to adjust the stats so you can keep the +2. And
I thought about making Avalanche a little more expensive, but I thought that 2 would be like the most interesting number for like turn 6 decisions and stuff. That was just why I wanted to put him at 2 instead of 3 or more. I also thought about 1 for a second for a +1 version, but I don't know. Those were my thoughts. Thank you for
not a lot of 1-cost scalers.
Just Meek out here. Meek, Scorn.
Kitty?
Who?
Kitty?
Oh yeah, Kitty. Human Torch. I mean, they're out there. They're around.
Not really a scaler, but she can one-time double. Okay, yep. More than I thought, actually. Anyway, there's still I think of a small scaler, I think of a 2.
Nebula. Okay, so I took inspiration from I think you said you were as well, and our friend Michael started reading the Scarlet Witch series. Steve Orlando has been writing it recently, and very recently in the issue, she gets a apprentice dropped off on her doorstep by none other than Agatha Harkness. So it's this kind of loaded gun of this young teenager, which just seems like enough to handle on its own. But also like with like this untold power that she can't control, of course. And like Agatha's just always up to some bullshit. So Scarlet Witch has to worry about that. But Amaranth is the name of this new character. And banishing is kind of her whole thing. She's able to swallow big magic, and it's like kind of terrifying to a lot of people. So I decided for her ability, I was going to make her a 1/2 with the power Activate. Banish the next enemy card played at this location before it is revealed.
Ooh,
so I wanted it to,
like
so it's kind of, like a Negasonic,
it doesn't get a reveal.
Activate, so that they don't know which turn. You know what I mean? Kind of like the mind games there, because when you see a Negasonic, if they didn't get it out in Prio and surprise you with it, you just try and ping off something little on it. But here, I liked the added mind game of like, what turn are they going to activate it if they got it out?
Are they going to delay? Should I just rush and put stuff there now?
But wait,
exactly.
For the activate, do you want to have Prio? Is it only for this turn? Do you need Prio to do that, or does it stretch across turns? Like, could you activate it for next turn to snap on them? Or not to snap on them, but to close on them.
Once you activate it, it would be activated.
Just the next card played there.
Okay. Yeah, until the next card.
Super cool.
That is very cool. It's like
you try to time it right to snipe it.
Kind of like Goliath.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds.
That was mine.
It works without Prio too, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully, but I don't think it's too OP because there's Negasonic.
Although it works without Prio, but like if you activate it without Prio, you are really warning.
Yeah, then they know, right? Yeah. That seems like a good balance.
Maybe it should be a higher cost. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think so. I think.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I am assigning the next. Thank you. Homework. And I won't lie, it was naughty, and it's just not even Marvel Snap related because I wanted to have fun. I mean, not that like Snap isn't fun, but
okay.
we
did
a lot of
2
Snap
back-to-back
stuff.
card designs. We can get away from the Marvel Snapness of it all.
Okay. I want your most I thought about doing something mundane, like what's the most recommended game you would have for someone who likes Marvel Snap? And then I was like, nah, fuck that. I want your most obscure video game recommendation, but it has to be one you love. Not most, because I was like, okay, I already started thinking for me, and I'm like, but this, and which one's most obscure? So, just one that is on the obscure side, but you must love it.
I love it.
Yeah, see? I love if you know exactly what it is. And that is what would be our secret homework assignment for next week.
Okay. And with that, we will close the show. If you liked what you heard, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, you can go to YouTube or Spotify to leave a comment. We would love that. You can also come hang out with us on Discord. We're on the Snap Judgments League Discord. There are instructions how to do that in the show notes. Like 1 or 2 people trickle in a week, and it's great. Come hang out with us and share your own secret homework. Tell us what obscure video game you are into.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
I love hearing about that shit.
Please.
That's what I would ask you at a bar when we were drunk.
I love seeing the card designs. I love seeing the other secret homework, but like that's a good one. That's something that's actionable to me. We're part of the Snap Judgments Network. That's how we got on their Discord, where you can listen to other great shows like Snap Decisions from Joe, where he does like interviews with guests on Mondays and does other coverage on Tuesdays. Check it out. It's very casual friendly, which I think is a twist that not a lot of shows in this space have. And with that, if you want to find out, I don't know, what we think about Starbrand or find out our video game recommendations, tune in next week. Same Snap time, same Snap channel.
Yeah.
Yay.
And is it Ree's Comic Corner now?
Oh, okay. Actually, instead, I was thinking earlier, I wanted to propose to you guys a new, like maybe a segment we could do sometime when we have not all the shit.
Yeah, let's workshop live. Let's do it.
Okay. What if we did a mode where one of us, had an assignment and we had to build a deck with it? Okay, and then the third person, okay, only 2 people would build the deck. The third person would play it, and we would have to sports commentate it.
Oh, like live play a deck?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds
that could be fun.
interesting. I don't know how good I am at sports commentary. Haven't done it before.